Hey everyone, I'm Tim Singer. The sprint for the World Cup. End of the weekend continues now with the BMW Sprint World Cup. It's also a sprint to stay ahead of the weather. As you saw, the conditions very cloudy and no more rain here in Winterberg. That's a good thing, as the doubles sprint race just ended with a German victory. Will we see more of the same here as we turn our attention to the women? It will open up with the Russian, but it will very much close with the Germans, as 4 are in the field today, including Deanna Eithburger, Natalie Geisenberger, and Julia Tobitz, who yesterday won her 3rd race of the season. Right now, I'm pleased to introduce once again from Team USA, Jason Turdeman, 2-time Olympian and former top 3 in the overall World Cup. Jason, here we go again.
Yeah, another exciting one here in front of us, Tim, the sprint race. These women, it's going to be very tight. Not a great start for Katarina hitting that wall.
By and large, this women's start is the most challenging of the 3 disciplines as far as the first 100 meters or so of the track.
Yeah, I think the doubles one is also difficult, but it's different kinds of difficult. The angle at which this women's start ramp goes into that zero curve is kind of almost a negative, not a negative angle, but you're behind the corner, then you got to put yourself in front of it and back around that short wall. You have to be very precise, especially if you're going to paddle all the way through it. We saw Katarina have an issue at the start. Granted, we have no idea what the split times are going to be, but I would imagine the next sled, as long as they're clean up top and have a decent run, will come down in the green on a Katarina.
Well, these are the final few curves, the lower S curves, the labyrinth, and then big uphill, wide sweeping left-hand turn to the finish, 39.591, and shaking her head, Jason. Yeah, she knew right from the start, but at least she kept it calm the rest of the way down.
That's right, and that's a huge mental skill to have, is gain that composure after you make a mistake right in the beginning, because you still have to sliding a sled down a track of ice going 80 miles an hour. You need to be safe and get yourself down to the finish line. So that's a great showing of mental fortitude. But right here on the start, she paddles herself. On her settle here, she jumps to the right. But there's that angle. You can see it right through there. There's no straight line from that start right through that zero curve.
Already on course, this is Raluca Stramaturarou of Romania, 7th place finisher at the Pyeongchang Olympic Games. By far, Romania's best showing at an Olympics, at least since 1992, where I think they had a top 5 in doubles.
Yeah, Raluca's been around quite a while. A lot of experience. She's in the red right now, which is surprising to me, but we didn't get to see her start either. She was already entering corner 2 when they jumped up to her feed.
Not her strong suit, and it was the 2nd fastest start of the 2, so not as fast as Baturina.
Which makes me think she made a big mistake as well because of the wall hit. So
must have been.
Yeah, must have been. Actually, in my opinion, probably very similar to each other. If they're going to be, just over a 10th difference.
Well, maybe we'll take a look at that. We have isolated cameras from top to bottom, regardless of whether it was captured live, so that'll be interesting to see. Otherwise, we'll just move along, because the next sled is a pretty important one as we get ready for the first of the Germans, Deanna Eithburger. Now we're catching it a little lower down.
Yeah, it's the
right at the
entrance
finish.
to the final corner, yep.
Yesterday, Deanna Eithburger, coming off of her first victory in her comeback season, which was last week in Oberhof on her home track. Yesterday, she was 26th after the first run and made it all the way. She halved that, 13th place at the end of the second run.
Yeah, she had the first place run in that heat, correct?
That's right, fastest time of the second heat.
Yeah, so Deanna really put her foot down on that one to try and get herself into today's competition. And going off 3rd on a weathery day in Winterberg, not a bad spot to be.
Regardless of where she ends up, Deanna will be hopping in her car, driving about 4 hours south right after this race to be returning to her partner Chris and her brand new baby Levi.
This is a great looking run from Deanna, and you see 3.5 lead right now. This could be a podium position right there.
I was just about to ask.
Wow, over 6/10. I wouldn't be surprised if, honestly, if she wins the race with that run right there.
We've got 12 others that will have something to say about that. Again, it's a one-heat race. There's no cumulative time. There's no time advantage for any of the next sleds. The only advantage they have is the knowledge that they did better on this track yesterday than Eithburger. But as you mentioned, no one was faster than this woman in the second run.
Right, as long as Deanna has a clean run. I mean, she's one of the best in the world, Olympic silver medalist. Many times on the World Cup podium, quite a few World Cup victories.
Latvia's Kendia Aparayod on course now. Last week in Oberhof, she had the lead after the first run. She fell back in heat number 2, but still stayed on the podium, her second ever podium, both bronze.
Yeah, Kenya's been making a very big resurgence onto the tour over the last couple of years. Her and her brother, Christers.
Yeah, we hope to see Christers back after the break. He skipped the last 2 races after a crash in training, but Latvia has proven it is competitive in all 3 disciplines now in World Cup Luge.
That's right. This is a pretty close run here so far. This split will be very telling as to what's going to happen in the final 3 corners. I think, yeah, a little bit over, I'm going to say about a 1/10 of a second here. Eithburger takes her.
Still, this is a really good run for the Latvian. Exactly
1,000th off.
Yeah, 1,000th off.
Oh, darn.
And you would have thought maybe after Deanna's run that the next 5 or 6 may not have been within a quarter of a second.
Yeah, but the sprint format makes these races super tight. Letting the sleds get up to speed, shortening the amount of time that's actually being clocked. Definitely brings out the tightest of the racing for sure. Although we did see in the men's 2-run format this morning, 4,000s and 5,000s separating guys from second and third and just off the podium.
Lisa Schulte now on course, the first of 2 in a row from Austria with 3 total in today's race. And a quick shout out to Veronica, who emails in from Hanover, Germany, watching this morning. Let us know where and if you are watching. We've had viewers, we've communicated today from all over the world, including New Zealand.
All right, let's see here. Lisa's in the red from Deanna. These Austrian women have really been trying to make a move. I mean, especially right now with Madeline Egla finishing 4th in how many races so far this year?
Well, she's been 4th in 2 races, 3 races now, and a
3
5th
and
and
2
a
back to
6th.
back.
Yeah, 3 in a row after a 5th and a 6th.
Yeah, so being led by Madeline, these Austrian women have really started moving themselves up the ladder.
Well, like the Latvians, Austria has been sort of trailing the men with the women's programs the last several years, but now everyone is on equal ground. I was going to say equal footing, but should you say equal booties or equal runners?
I'd say equal runners.
Okay.
If your booties are on the ground, you're slowing yourself down.
That's true. Lisa Schulte's best finish this year was a 6th. It was 11th yesterday.
Yeah, and this wasn't a very bad run at all. I just think that we really saw some great sliding from Eithburger.
Now Hanna Prak, who is having a bit of a mini breakout season, her first year on the World Cup as a regular full-time participant. She has won podium. That was last year or the year before in Königssee. And
it was last year.
And she has a top 5 this year, 5th place in this sprint race in Innsbruck.
Yeah, let's see how tight she can make this to Diana's time. That'll be pretty telling on where she'll probably end up at the conclusion of the race.
Now making her way to the lower portion of this VELTINS-EisArena. Hanna Prak. Deanna Eithburger of Germany continues to lead, the Olympic silver medalist down at the bottom.
Hannah's doing a great job at staying close. I think she's definitely going to be ahead of her teammate Lisa Schulte.
To the finish, the fog is lifting a little bit. She is 700ths back in second place. Another top 10 performance this weekend for Hanna Prak, who I suspect is just looking for consistency this season.
Yeah, she's only 22 years old.
That's right, and she could actually tend to put on a little more muscle as well.
No, I think we all could.
Yeah, well.
But she's still relatively young. She's still gaining a lot of much-needed experience to find a podium already at that age and be in a top 5 position. Oh,
Anna Bierreiter had the same problem yesterday in run number 2 in her first race of the weekend. She's fighting to stay on this German program. She missed the first 2 races of this season despite 2 victories last year, although they have committed to her for this race and the next one on her home track.
Well, I think that after this weekend, she's going to really need to perform at that next competition.
Well,
she's making these big mistakes at the start.
Ironically, this weekend she pushed Cheyenne Rosenthal off of the World Cup lineup, and this is Cheyenne's home track. She's the only woman from Winterberg on the national team.
Yeah. I mean, I feel for Anna. She's a really positive athlete, great slider. But coming up, 3/10 behind in a sprint competition is not, my understanding, accepted in the German program.
Nothing other than podiums.
That's right.
5th out of the 7 that have come down. All right, we have 7 down, 8 still to come. Deanna Eithburger leading the way, but a problem right here at the top for, it looked like a delayed settle, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked like she wasn't sure about it, if the sled was going to hit that wall. She settled. I think it was going to make it, but it looked like she just tensed up.
Now Natalie Mogg, who is in effect an extension of the German program, as she has spent her entire career under Germany's tutelage.
And another one that has been able to find speed in the last couple of years as well and really make herself a podium prospect on several occasions.
Her 9th yesterday was the best result this season for the Swiss athlete, who had finished as high as 14th prior. He actually was in 8th yesterday, to correct myself.
Yeah, she's already 2/10 back.
Well, our projections about Deanna Eithburger hanging in that leader box for a while continues to be proven correctly. She's definitely had more leader box time than anyone this weekend over the 2 days, and it's not even close.
Right.
She moved from 26th to 13th yesterday. So doing my math here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 18 sleds she's seen go by over the 2 days behind her.
And these last 2 sleds have come up behind quite a few other athletes as well, so everybody's getting those spots back.
Here's Tatyana Ivanova. She won the race in Altenburg, Germany. That was race number 3, the only non-German victory in women's luge this year.
She's got, the second most active victories?
She does. She has 15 career wins, and my last statement, the only non-German win this year. For many years, we could have said the only non-German victory this decade. Because
Summer Bridger.
Yeah, no, I'm saying for many years we could have said that.
Oh, this
Germany
decade.
had a winning streak in women's luge from 1997 to 2009, I believe.
Yeah, that was
2008.
The Aaron Hamlin victory in 2009 World Championships stopped the German domination.
But then it took
Alex
Goff's win in Russia.
The World Cup
right?
one. Yep.
So
North
now,
American ladies just trying to ruin that streak.
Well, Tatyana kept it close. Ivanova in 2nd place right now. She
Was that a tie? Oh no, 1,000th.
Yeah, 1,000ths of the separate. 2nd separate Ivanova from Hannah Prak, 2nd and 3rd. Deanna Eithburger continues to lead. 6 remain here in Winterberg. Her best finish, other than the win, not that the win doesn't count, was a 5th, but I believe last year, and I don't have that sheet in front of me anymore, but going over the last couple of years, Ivanova has had as many podiums as anyone. Now, Ekaterina Katnikova, the final of the Russians, the world champion, 6th place yesterday.
Sprint world champion, world champion. Surprise athlete last year at Worlds. Not such a surprise because she has been on an upswing, but to go back-to-back world championship titles, it's reminiscent of Wolfgang Kindl at his home world championships.
That's correct. Now, we've seen it a few times over the years. Home cooking helps.
Oh, definitely.
But Katnikova was also someone who was regularly in the top 5 last year. Not in the podium a lot, but 4th, 5th, 6th, almost every race.
Yep. And that's the kind of confidence you need, because I've said it before, when you're fighting in top 6, really it's just who in front of you is going to make that mistake to get you up there. And
well, she'll be hard-pressed to be in the top 6 here. Just 6, 39.214, in danger of dropping out of the top 10 when all is said and done here. So a little less consistency this year for the world champion. It's almost like she reached that high point, and then a day later in the relay at the World Championship, she missed the paddle and has been struggling to get back since.
Yeah, that's a gut-wrenching. I remember standing there watching that happen. I felt so bad for her, but she had won 2 races prior to that weekend, so it's tough to feel, too bad.
She had her share of being able to celebrate that week. Now, Andrea Better, the top-ranked Italian, 5th place yesterday, earned her first World Cup podium last season.
It looks like the track is frosting up, at least between the corners and some of the straightaways up top.
Split time here. She is picking up a little time. So 700s, this could be somewhat close, Jason.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, this next split's going to be huge, and she's going to have to be super clean down low.
Now she's losing that time. Unfortunate. And it might bear out what you just mentioned with the track. Could be frosting up a little down at the bottom. Earlier today, we saw really fast times, especially down at the bottom. But as you see, a 7th place time right there for Andrea Better, who had stayed nearly even with Eithburger on the first half of the track.
Yeah, I think that humidity's really setting in. The ice is a little bit colder, the air's warmer. I think we're definitely seeing some frost take over here.
Temperature Fahrenheit 43 degrees at the beginning of this run, which is about 5 degrees cooler than earlier today, but the humidity has not lifted. What else is new?
It looks like Egla had an issue at the start.
Unfortunate. We have been rooting for Madeleine Egla to finally find the podium so far this year for the Austrian. 5th, 6th, 4th, 4th, 4th. And let's check out the first split time. The speed is not good, so she must have had a big problem.
Yeah, let's see. We'll see what the gap is for Eithburger here. I really thought this was going to be her chance. They're already over a 10th back.
And this is the split from this one to the next one is where we've seen the most time getting lost the last several sleds.
Yep.
It's just not going to be for Madeleine Egla, who will have to wait at least one more race.
See if she stays in the top 6 at this finish here.
5th place. So Deanna Eithburger now just 1 position away from the podium. We're still looking at a potential Germany 1-2-3 sweep with only 3 remaining, 2 of them from Germany. So they've guaranteed themselves 1 podium spot. It's Ivanova in 2nd, Prak in 3rd right now. And here's a look at what we didn't catch.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I knew it. That's not fun.
That was a good call by you to recognize that had happened. Now Eliza Taruma, the final Latvian in today's women's competition. She is the defending champion, having won this race last year and then backed that up with a podium yesterday.
Yeah, I think Winterberg has become one of Eliza's favorite places to compete. Usually that happens with a lot of success. Here we go, the first green we've seen since Diana. And back to blue. Let's see here.
Okay,
18,000.
We have seen time and again how quick Latvians have been this weekend in Winterberg down at the bottom. She's in the red. Let's see how close it is here. Still tight, 300.
Oh boy. Oh, she got that right back on line. I thought she was a little long off corner 12, but she handled that beautifully.
The track is decidedly slowing down now, down at the bottom, working to Eithburger's advantage. So Deanna on the podium now for the 4th time, the 5th time in 6 races this season, a comeback season from maternity leave. Just delivered a baby last February.
Now Germany's guaranteed the gold medal in this competition.
No question about it.
Just which German will it be, and will the others be able to take Hannah Prak and Ivanova off the podium?
Now Natalie Geisenberger. 5 races, 5 second-place finishes. Natalie looking for career victory, number 50 on the World Cup. She is hugging that left wall pretty closely, but very quick recovery.
That's okay. That's quite all right. She might have actually gotten lucky there with how her hand stuck to that wall and put her sled right through that gap.
Her start speed is 5th. As you see, the Latvian just put in the quickest time just a moment ago. Natalie in the red right now. How tight will it be?
I think this is going to be pretty close, especially up top. Yep, back in the green, back in the red. It's going to be tight here. Deanna gained a lot of time after corner 9. I think that's going to be the real tell.
Now 200ths up for Natalie Geisenberger.
And here on out, this is where Eithburger gains. So we'll see if Natalie gains here. Talbot's is going to be sitting up top wondering what's going to happen.
4 thousandths of a second the last split. The next time you see it stop will be the finish time, and she found it at the bottom. So these two friends and new mothers have been trading off all season long, back and forth, back and forth. And right now they hold the top 2 spots. Germany has clinched 2 podium positions. Will they sweep? That will be determined in a moment. Julia Tobitz waiting at the top.
Yeah, right here, she plants that final paddle between the wall and her settle. Actually was what happened there. Her sled jumped a little left on the settle and found that hole, that gap right through that start corner. 5
times a bridesmaid this season for Natalie Geisenberger. Will she win her 50th all-time race? She's waiting at the bottom. And now Julia Tobitz. 3 victories this year for the defending World Cup overall champion. Speed, 3rd fastest. Most notably faster than Geisenberger, but Natalie was fast down below.
All right, we got already in the green for Julia. Let's see, after this Kreisel corner here, that gap's going to be, this time change here is going to be very important. Almost a 1/10 of a second. I think Talbot's, barring any major mistake, is going to be just fine at the finish line.
This is looking as if it's going to be a repeat 1, 2, 3 of the first Sprint World Cup in Innsbruck to
Look
open
at her
the season.
open this up.
Incredible performance this weekend for Julia Tobitz. 38.782. Germany sweeps the podium, a page out of years past. 1, 2, 3, Deutschland, Deutschland, Deutschland. Congratulations among the coaching staff. Julia Tobitz wins for the 4th time this season. Natalie Geisenberger, 5 for 5 second-place finishes.
Unreal. That margin of victory there, I am very surprised by that.
6 races this year, Jason, and in half of them, it went 1, 2, 3, Tobitz, Geisenberger, Eithburger, in that order.
Now these ladies are coming back from the maternity leave with a vengeance. And Julia's hanging on to what success she found last year and the experiences she gained from that to continue going this year.
Hey, while we check out the final results and while we talk about Geisenberger and Eithburger coming back from maternity leave, our congratulations to them and their partners. We also have to congratulate your teammate, Erin Hamlin.
Yeah, absolutely. Erin gave birth to her son on the 15th. You got Harrison Hodge. Little shout out to the young man.
So 3 Olympic medalists, new moms, 2 of them back in the sport and regularly earning podiums.